this is the cool thing about having this gig for as long as I've had this gig is you get a chance to catch up with a guy who you're in college at the same time. You watched him become a Hall of Famer, and now you get to say, like, hey, what's up now, and what's your life like now, and kind of reflect on an unbelievable career. He was how many times you're an All-Pro? It's like
a few times.
8
just
times,
a few.
9 times
Something
All-Pro?
like that.
That's the best in the business,
Less than
right?
10, let's just say that.
Less than 10, but he's also a Hall of Famer, so that doesn't matter. And the last football game he played, he won the Super Bowl, right?
No.
You didn't?
We lost the Super Bowl, my last football game.
You did?
Yeah.
That was against Seattle?
Yeah, that game.
Oh, man, my bad.
We won't talk about it. It's all good.
Okay.
It's my career.
You know what
it is.
Because in terms of your career, you got plenty of chances to reflect. Like when you close your eyes and you think of things, what thoughts pass through your mind? Because we have lots of spectacular plays that you made that we think of. What do you think of?
I think of, a lot of good moments, but it was a grind, When I look at the guys on Sunday, Saturday, whatever day they're playing, I just think about what they did all week to get ready. And that's what shuts me down. Like, okay, I'm so happy to be on the other side.
Right, it's not the games, it's the practice.
It's the practice.
It's the study.
It's the grind of it. People see the games, but they don't realize, we really got paid to practice. Like, that's where all the time went into. So I don't miss that part of it. Of course, I loved it when I did it, but right now, that was the worst part of it when I reflect.
If you could tinker with the rules for defensive backs, what would you change it, and if so, how?
Yeah, no illegal contact. How about that? Yeah, so we can touch and bump and do everything we can till the ball's in the air. And
what about on the underthrow? Like my least favorite one is the purposefully underthrown ball.
Yeah.
Where the wide receiver pretends like he's coming back to get it, and the cornerback is in man-to-man and you have to like turn around to see the ball, and as soon as they act like they're going back to get it, it's a PI. Would you is there a way to fix that?
No, it really isn't. And I think that's what makes that position so unique is you have to be good at staying calm. And what I mean is when that ball's in the air and you see that guy coming back, you got to be able to turn your head, slow your feet down, locate the ball, and not make a pass interference. It's almost impossible, but I think that's why corners should be paid the big bucks because it's that hard.
I think they're paid pretty well.
Yeah, they're not where they should be. They should be better.
But it has to come from somewhere. So is it quarterbacks are overpaid?
No, the receivers are.
Okay. But the defensive ends are really well paid.
Yes, they are.
Right?
And they should be. They affect the quarterback.
Right. It's all about the quarterback. Guy who gets open for the quarterback, guy who can shut down the guy can pressure the quarterback, and then guy who can help shut down the quarterback, right?
Well, right. But, the glamour positions on offense, right? So for a defensive player, you want somebody who can affect the quarterback at a high clip. So they're kind of hard to find. It's a unique position. But even harder to find is a good corner. So when you look at guys like PS2 and, these guys that are really good, they're hard to find. They're hard to come by.
They are really
They really affect the game in a way that you may not notice in real time, So it's one of those things. Like maybe the receivers are paid well. Corners just should be paid better.
Okay. Well, one of the things that's cool about corners, though, is that corners, you still have your faculties when you're done.
Yeah. Well,
right?
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part.
That is
like, I'm
that
sure
is true.
some stuff hurts, right?
Yes.
But ain't like running backs, ain't like linebackers,
we're not making
offensive line.
we're not making 10 tackles a game, and we're not banging every play. So, yeah, that's a good point.
What is Positive Athlete?
Positive Athlete is a recognition platform. So what we do is we recognize athletes, men, women, girls, boys, it doesn't matter, in high school that have high character, hardworking, accountable, all the things that lead to them being a good pro. We highlight them, we recognize them, but on the flip side, we give them leadership tools, things that they will need.
How do you identify them?
Well, they're identified by their coaches, parents. So that's how they nominate. So you go to positiveathlete.org. You can nominate them as a coach, a parent, anything. Anybody in the house at the high school level. You want to nominate as many as possible. People think when you give sports awards, it goes to the elite of what they do on the field. we're highlighting the ones that do things great off the field. Maybe they're just a great teammate, great in the classroom. That's inspiring to me because now it motivates that kid that's on the fence about playing. Now they want to play because they have a chance to be recognized for some of the other things that they're great at. They might not be great at that sport, but they're great at other things, community work, everything, just leadership in general. So I think it's good that we highlight them because on the flip side, when you think about these corporations, who do they want to work for them?
Correct.
They want former athletes, more or less. But they're hard to find. They're hard to get to. Where do you find them? And that's what we're trying to create.
What's it like to be a Hall of Famer?
It's great, man. It's you got to think. This was a dream of mine to have that gold jacket. I never was shy about that. Early in my career, first year, second year, it doesn't matter. I would always say, yeah, I want to have a Hall of Fame career. But
lots of people say it.
I know.
To do it.
I know.
To
but
give
now,
that speech, to be recognized, to have the bronze bust.
Yeah.
Right?
Now that I'm here,
yeah.
It's sort of surreal because I just ran into Steve Atwater. I grew up watching him, right? And of course, I've had my I've had my run-ins with him being with the Broncos, but now that I see him and I know that we're on the same team, I never played with him, but we happen to be on the same team now, in the Hall of Fame. I got in right before he did. It's just perfect, man. Now I got all these teammates that I never actually laced them up with, and then a few that I did that got gold jackets. A lot of the guys. I mean, Darryl Green, Bruce Smith, John Lynch, Brian Dawkins. I played with a lot of great ones, man, and they were Hall of Famers in those moments when I played with them. They could have shut it down at those times and still got that gold jacket. That's what's perfect about it. I saw them when they already accomplished these things.
What do you do with the jacket? Like, where is it in your house?
It's in my closet, just like the rest of my jackets.
It's just with the other suit coats?
Yes, because
do you have
I wear it from time to time.
For real?
Yeah.
Just like around the house?
No.
I would.
No. I bet you would. But I wear it to events. I want it to be an inspiration because.
Have you ever gotten anything on it?
Oh yeah, it's gotten dirty, but it's come out.
Okay.
I haven't had any, permanent stains so far. Let me knock on wood. But that's it, man. I love to wear it in certain moments, but I don't want people thinking I should wear it all the time, right? Like, no, it has to be special moments when I know it's going to resonate with the audience or whoever I'm around.
I do want to ask about that Super Bowl because it spun out of control on the very first snap.
Very first snap.
Right?
Yeah.
Very first snap.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Does the game change if that first snap doesn't happen?
Maybe, but I'm not sure. I'm a big believer in defense wins championships.
Yep.
And we were weak on defense.
Yep.
First, you had a 35-year-old corner starting, myself. I probably shouldn't have been a starter. We lost Chris Harris maybe the week or so before, which hurt us a lot in the playoffs. Von Miller was out that year. We lost Kevin Vickerson, Derek Wolfe. Now, if you think about those names, they were on that Super Bowl 50 team.
Yes.
All those guys were healthy. They had all the pieces, and that's really why they won that game.
And no, that was not really. It was why they won.
Yeah.
Like, Peyton couldn't throw then. They had no offense. It was all defense and special teams.
Yeah,
and
but
here's what's crazy about that. So we were getting ready for that game. The Super Bowl was in New York, obviously, or in Jersey. And I remember everyone was talking about Peyton and 50 touchdowns.
Yep.
And this was the year. And I was like, have we thought about the fact that, like, the cliche is defense wins championships, and on the other side
real.
is one of the best defenses in the history of the sport?
One of the best ever, right?
Yeah.
You can't match up against that defense without a good defense. I know we don't play against each other, but we had to get stops. We didn't get stops. They did. And it was just a nightmare from there.
I got to ask you this one question from the defensive side when, like, we're watching as just fans. I don't understand how Kelsey gets open. He's not fast. He's not fast anymore, right? And he's like all these Antonio Gates at the end of his career couldn't run.
Yeah.
But those big old tight ends, they find a way. And you sit there and scream at the TV like, they're going to Kelsey. They're going to Kelsey. And yet he still catches the football. How does that happen? How does that work?
Smart. He has a quarterback that he's very in sync with. But he also is able to push off when necessary. He's deceptively fast. I mean, he's not, of course, blazing fast, but he knows how to kick it into another gear. He just understands football. And when you watch him, he just goes to the open space. And Mahomes just knows he's going to be there. So when you're in sync like that, anything can happen. And that's why he puts up big numbers from time to time, and sometimes he doesn't.
Yep.
Because there's ways to take him out of it, but then you expose yourself to the Xavier Worthy and all the other weapons that they have. So it's one of those things Pat Mahomes has done a great job of doing, is utilizing the weapons around him.
When Peyton retired, a lot of people consider him the greatest pure quarterback of all time, right? And then obviously Brady went on kind of that last stretch, won some Super Bowls, and that conversation kind of went away.
Yeah.
I don't know about the whole rankings thing or whatever. That stuff is lame, right? But having been a part of that magical offensive season, and having played against him and played against so many of the greats, what do football players think of Peyton and what made the Sheriff so special?
Well, I still consider him the best pure pocket passer ever played, right? I still consider him that, but he's not the most accomplished. I think when you look at it, everybody's going to put Brady up there. But when you talk about what it means to be a leader and a quarterback and be consistent, Peyton was it. He was it. He was my toughest opponent as a quarterback. People always ask, who's your toughest receiver? I can individually say T.O., but when I think about those moments I had to cover, it was Marvin Harrison because he had Peyton. Now, Marvin was great in his own right, but when you have Peyton, it's 10 times harder. So, look, man, Peyton is the best to me. And, I was happy to play with him my last 2 years.
It's crazy because he couldn't really run. He didn't have a great arm, and yet he just would pick you apart with his brain, right?
That's it.
It's similar to, even when you were 35, all right, maybe at that point in the continuum you had lost a step, but there is that spot where your football intelligence and your overall human intelligence that you had, that he had, that Travis Kelce has, where it just allows you to be maybe at your best even if you're not athletically at your best.
Look, if you can be around the game for 10-plus years and you lose a little bit of your athleticism, if you could just be around and have a chance, that's why he's so good, because he outsmarts people. And that's why Peyton was so good later. Yeah, he couldn't throw it. He couldn't even run it. He couldn't throw it as hard, but he couldn't run it. But he outthinks people. So he's a step ahead of you every time. So you're always playing catch up. That's why he was so great.
He's one of the all-time greats, Champ Bailey, and it's positiveathlete.org. That's positiveathlete.org, and the goal is 99% of student athletes who won't be going pro get the chance to prepare for life.
Yeah, so go positiveathlete.org. Any parent, coach, administrator can nominate any athlete at the high school level, as many as they want. And they'll be recognized for all the hard work they do on and off the field, but mainly off the field, that high character, all those traits that companies really value is what we're trying to build.
Champ, it's great to catch up. Thanks for joining us.
Man, always. Good to see you, Doug.